It could turn out to be a decisive weekend of Premier League action at the top and the bottom of the league. Massive games, massive stories to discuss. It is going to be a big one. Obviously, Sean is with me. He's not. Josh is with me. How are you, mate?
Well, good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's Sean's birthday today, so he is not here. So we'd all wish Sean a very happy birthday, and I'm sure he will return to us next week. But Josh, this is the beginning of the farewell tour of the Premier League Roundup show because it doesn't look like we're going to be here next year. So unless you want to host it on your own, then we've got a matter of weeks left.
Yeah, I might have to take over next season. Might the way we're going, you're going at the minute. Yeah, you never know. Get a few signings in January. You never know. There's still a chance. But what a shocking result that was the weekend. West Ham couldn't believe it.
Oh, I could believe it. If you don't laugh, you cry. We'll come on to that in a second. First of all, we will go to Villa Park, Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest. Well, you did us a favour here before we played, and there was a bit of added incentive for West Ham, but not to be. But a comfortable 3-1 victory, some goalkeeping disasters in amongst it all, but another win for the Villa, Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought we didn't really have to get out of second gear, I'll be honest. First half, it was the most possession we'd ever had in a game under Emery, which I was sort of most baffled by. I expected Forest to come and sort of play on the break, sit back a little bit, but we played sides like Chris Wilder's Sheffield United at home, who been on 6 points at like April time or stuff like that. We played Luton at home, and I've never seen a team set up so negatively. It was unbelievable what Forest did. I think 30 minutes in, we had something like 82% possession. They literally just come, park the bus, and just hope to get a 0-0, I think. But that said, we created very little first half, as usual against low blocks. We had all the ball, like I just said, but couldn't really break them down. They posed absolutely no threat on the break whatsoever. I thought first half, they literally just come to sit in, but we couldn't really break them down. And once again, as we've seen so many times this season, we rely on an absolute thunderbolt from outside the box from Watkins to get us 1-0 up right in half time. Second
At
half,
what point, Josh? Sorry to interject, but at what point do all these goals from outside of the box go from being an amazing, like luck of sort of brilliance to sort of this is what we're doing week in week out, and we're just very good at scoring from outside the box?
I don't think it is luck anymore because it's literally been something like, I think it's 14 goals, 13, 14 goals from outside the box this season.
I
So
don't
they're
think we've
obviously
scored 14 goals all season. You've scored 14 from outside the box.
they're obviously being encouraged. I don't think it is luck anymore. I think when you get 2 or 3 to start the season, you think, okay, is this sustainable? We're getting a bit lucky here. Matty Cash scoring just screamers more, so it's just not like it's not at all sustainable. But now I think we're in January. We're second in the league, joint second in the league. 14 goals outside the box. It's obviously something that we're very good at. Like it's a skill scoring from outside the box in the day. Like I don't think it's just complete luck when you do it that many times. I think we've got players who are good at shooting from outside the box, and it's a rare quality, but it is a quality. So I don't think you can say it's something you can take away from us in terms of being a good side. I just think it's a quality our side has now. I think that's what I see it as now rather than luck. I think it sort of gives XG the middle finger a little bit. For sure at one point we were 19th in XG whilst third in the league, which is just mental really. We don't know what we've done to XG, but we sort of proved that it just really doesn't matter. But yeah, I think it's obviously tactical now, they're obviously being encouraged. So yeah, at this point I really don't see it as luck. Proving XG doesn't matter at all. I think we're still in the bottom half for that. So yeah, I just see it as a skill that we've got. And yeah, once again, it got us in front of the at the break, and it's been used a lot of times this season to break down low blocks. And the second half, to be fair to Forest, they did come out a little bit more, but after that first half, you should hope they would have, because they literally didn't move off the 18-yard line first half. Second half, they were pressing a bit more, which sort of played into our hands a little bit. We sort of found it a bit easier to play through them. Like I said, opened them up a bit more, and that sort of, like I say, played into our hands. We got the second one, I can't remember, was it second or third? I can't remember where the keeper had an absolute nightmare, but either way, I'm not too sure what he was doing. But take no credit away from McGinn again, and another outside the box goal. But I don't think it's an easy as a finish as people are saying. He bends it round the corner. You can see at first it looks like it's gone wide, and he bends it back in. It's a great finish, really.
Hell of a
Um,
finish that was, because the angle from behind, we were watching it in the ground at Wolves, and it looked like you've just chipped it in, but the angle from
yeah.
behind and the curve he had to the whippage on it to
Yeah,
get
no,
it
that's
in.
what I mean. I thought it just hit it straight, but if you look at it, it looks like the ball's gone wide. But you can
Yeah.
see he sort of curled it round the corner there. Cracking finish, really. And again, another one from outside the box. They got the one back, but apart from that, I wouldn't really say they threatened too much second half. They come out a bit more, had a bit of a go, but I just couldn't believe the way they set up first half, to be honest. I know Deitch has always been sort of a negative manager. His teams are based on being defensively solid, hard to beat, get a goal from a set piece. That's usually how they win. But you think now, I'd probably say Nottingham Forest squad isn't the top 10 for strongest squads in the league. If you look at the depth they've got now, the money they spent in the summer, they've got some serious depth, some great players in that squad. So you'd think you'd try and be a little bit less pragmatic with that team. I get why you do it. A team like Everton or Burnley, I think he'd try and adapt a little bit with the squad of players he's got. But no, like I'd say, we played some really poor teams, and we've had less possession of the ball than that, and they've come out a bit more than that. I mean, if you're a Forest fan watching that every week, I used to watch Everton quite a lot under Deitch, and watching that every week, it is really grim, and it probably will keep them up, but that owner, there's no way he's going to have that football watching that week in, week out with his patience. There's absolutely no chance Deitch is lasting. I think he'll keep them up this season. I think, honestly, no more than 10 games into next season, he'd probably be gone. Because watching that every week, it must be awful. I was honestly shocked. That I expect them to come and play in the break. I always knew we were going to have more of the ball. I'd say we played some poor sides at home, and they said, I think it's the most possession of Emery's ever had at Villa against the side, which with the squad that you've got, it shouldn't be happening, really. But at the end of the day, it's Sean Dyche. He knows how to keep a team up, but I'm really not too sure about him taking them forward. But yeah, as for Villa, you can't complain, really. 11 in a row. Then obviously the defeat at Arsenal. We actually thought we were quite unlucky in that one. First half, second half, we were sort of blown away once the first one went in. But for first half, we were unlucky not to be in front. So yeah, you just can't complain with the money we spent in the summer compared to the rest of the teams. Spent something like 30 million, and that was it. And that was on one player. Two others were loans. One was a free transfer. So yeah, I can't believe it, honestly. I still can't really get my head around what we're doing under Emery. It's unbelievable, really. So yeah,
There we
great
go.
second. It's astonishing.
Another good win. And breathe, Josh. Blimey, that was impressive. Well, I mean, you're coming under a bit of fire in the chat, Josh, because apparently you didn't spoil your mum at Christmas. Did you not? Did you not buy anything nice? Because you'll be coming under some criticism in the chat. It seems like half your family's in the chat, to be honest, and you're getting pelters.
I haven't looked. I'll have to go have a look.
Right. Josh is going to devise his response to, where is it? Let me find it. When is he going to spoil his mum at Christmas? Apparently, your granddad got spoiled at Christmas, but what about your mum? Honestly,
Oh yeah.
what about mum?
To be honest, I didn't even play that much part in spoiling my granddad either. To be fair, I just usually let my mum do that.
That's
Yeah,
not what you're
I,
supposed to say. You're live on
I
YouTube,
know.
Josh. You're not supposed to.
I just let my family sort it. I'll be honest. Yeah, not my job, that one. Yeah, I'm
In
getting
about
some
4 years,
looks
I've
on
never
me.
seen Josh so startled and speechless live on YouTube in about 4 years. We will move on, and I will give his poor voice a rest after that. And let's go to Molyneux, shall we? Wolves 3, West Ham United. No, I've talked it to death. I'm sick to the back teeth of it, to be honest. But I'll do it one last time for you, gorgeous people. What is there to say? I have been to 121. I've checked 121 West Ham matches in my time, and that is the worst on Saturday. Categorically the worst I've ever been to in the context of the game and the opposition that we played. Looks like Josh has got a Wolves scarf behind him there, but I know it's not, but
Photo glimpse.
photo glimpse. Yeah. And it was just dreadful, wasn't it? We all know it was. Look, the scoreline suggests that, and the scoreline absolutely reflected the way the game went. And to be 1-0 down inside 4 minutes and the game to be done inside 31 away to bottom of the league. I mean, we doubled Wolves' points tally. We were in January, for goodness sake. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but I could at the same time. That sort of performance had been coming for a long time, and it had to come against bottom of the league, and they were loving it, Wolves, and you can't blame them, to be honest. And it signifies the end, really. We've got Forest tomorrow night, and again, if we beat Forest, we move within a point of them and a point of safety. But I can't see us beating Forest tomorrow. I really can't. After that display on Saturday, how on earth Nuno picks those boys up and tries to spin it positively and get a win 3 days later? I just cannot see it whatsoever. We've brought in a couple of strikers, but the main problem is defensively. We just cannot defend to save our lives. We give too much space. We don't man mark. We've got no pace. We're a dreadful football team, and we're going to be deserving of relegation when it does come. And I've said it for weeks. We had a spell where we weren't too bad. We should. Two games against Brighton, Bournemouth, Man United away, Villa at home. We were in the game, and we let all these games slip in a 6-week period where we could have won a fair few of them, but we got draws and we had narrow defeats, and I knew it would come back to bite us. We're a team that was going to get worse, and those good performances were going to dry up, and unfortunately they've dried up at the most important time where we've had 4 more winnable games, and we all said just after Christmas, Fulham, Brighton, Wolves and Forest, it had to be 9 or 12 points. We currently have 1 point out of the 3 games. And that's why we are where we are. We're going to go to Leeds in a minute, and they've got fight and energy, everything we don't have. And I just cannot see how we manufacture our way out of this. To be totally honest, I'd love to be proven wrong, but yeah, it was not good. I had fish fingers and chips for lunch. I mean, it was a brilliant day. It was freezing cold. Excellent trip to the Midlands, great food, cracking company, unsurprising result. Yeah, it was unsurprising, unfortunately. But it is what it is. West Ham unofficial crowd stood behind West Ham Fan TV crowd. What I like that was, I mean, it was YouTube royalty in Molineux on Saturday. I mean, people were treated to two of the best West Ham channels stood basically next to each other. We were in the end. It was superb. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that too much because I'm fed up of talking about it. We're going down. We're crap. I know we are. And hey ho. But the good thing is, Sean isn't here to tell me we are. So let's move on. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 3. Josh, in a weekend where City dropped points, Liverpool dropped points. I mean, they're not really in the title race. You didn't drop points. But do you think this is a consolidating weekend for Arsenal at the top of the table?
Yeah, 100%. I think they've moved 6 clear now. Yeah, I just think that they're definitely a much better team than last season. I don't think they're drastically better, but the difference is they'd have probably drew this game last season. Last season, the main issue was they're having too many draws. A lot of away games, they'd usually draw 0-0, 1-1. They'd go 1-0 up from a set piece and they couldn't see a game out. I think this season they've upped it another level defensively. They're just so hard as a unit to break down. Don't forget anyone scored more than 2 past them all season. Yeah, I think the issue with Bournemouth is they're probably just a bit too gung ho at times. I think I think they probably are one of the best pressing teams in the league, but they do leave themselves quite open. A lot of the time, we beat them 4-0 when we weren't even in that good a form, really. I think they do leave a lot of space in behind. They are just a bit sort of, he's got one way of playing and then sort of all out basically, and I think that's sort of played into Arsenal's hands a little bit. They're always going to cause teams problems going forward. Bournemouth, they are a great watch. They're 100 mile an hour. He plays a great brand of football, Adiola, but I think he is probably not quite the level of Postecoglou, but he is sort of a little bit like that. They're not really that controlled either. Bournemouth, they can mix it up. They can go long. They can go direct. I know people have been comparing Idiola to Pep, but I wouldn't say his teams have that much control either. They go quite long a lot of the time as well, quite direct. So yeah, I think that's probably why Bournemouth have usually always fall away. Last season they had a good run as well. They got up to about fifth. People saying on for Champions League, and they finished 11th start of this season. They've been second at one stage, and now they're in the bottom six. So I think that's sort of why his team sort of fall away. But either way, they'll give anyone a game on the day like they did to Arsenal. But yeah, I think Arsenal just they're so much more solid defensively now. They've been getting better at it every year. Even last season, they were very good as a unit, always hard to beat. But probably just had too many draws this season. Look like they've turned them draws into wins. I did initially want them to win the league, but I don't know now. I'd probably rather Man City win it. I just can't stand the manager, can't stand the fan base. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
it
you've
looks like
come to the knowledge, Josh. There we are.
I have. I know. I always used to stick by him, saying I'd rather them. At least it's someone different. But I can't have them anymore. I just they're so arrogant, so cocky. When they beat
God,
Villa,
Josh.
when they beat Villa the other week, it was like they were proper giving it as if it was the biggest game of their season. So I don't know, just very cringy fan base in general. But unfortunately, it looks like they're going to they're finally going to get over the line now. Arteta's completely changed his way. He's gone more Mourinho like the other year. That first year he bottled it 22-23, where they were about 10 points clear with 10 games to go, and they ended up losing it by about 7 or 8 points in the end. That was quite a small technical team. I felt players like Jesus, Zinchenko. Well, I think since then he's gone the other way. Arteta, where he sort of knew he had to be a bit more sort of pragmatic to win a league, not play it as nice a brand of football, get a few more sort of units in like Calafiori. I think he buys centre backs and he plays them full backs now. Timber and Calafiori, they were both centre halves. He's moved into full back, and I think he's just gone. Apart from Odegaard, one of the only players from that team who's really stayed. It was sort of like a small technical player. He's sort of gone the other way now, sort of more the Mourinho way, just being hard to beat. And to be fair, if it wins in the league, then fair enough. But at the end of the day, they have spent about £1 billion under him. So with the team they've got, the squad they've got, two players for every position, they probably should win it. But yeah, it does look like they're going to this season, I suppose.
I suppose there we go. He's finally come to the conclusions of this Arsenal setup. But there we are. Yeah, Declan Rice scores two. West Ham lose. Arsenal Arsenal going to win the league. It's just a nightmare weekend, isn't it? It's a nightmare weekend. I try to be positive, but I just can't muster anything at the moment. Long live the bowling. I hope you are well. Thanks for joining us. Let's next go to the straw that broke the camel's back. Do you know what? I was a little bit surprised when I saw it today, but what will no doubt overshadow the result of Leeds 1, Manchester United 1 is the removal of Ruben Amorim, and Darren Fletcher has replaced him in interim charge. Josh, it's beggars belief, doesn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I sort of expected it after the interview yesterday. It was very similar to what happened with Maresca at Chelsea, where it's sort of a few dodgy press conferences and the build up sort of looks like growing tensions for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden out of nothing, he's sacked. I don't think either of them, Maresca or Amarim, were sacked for performances like results. I think it was sort of just fallout upstairs, to be honest. For me, Amarim, if they wanted to sack him because they didn't think he was a good enough manager, I think they would have done it in like October when they were in the bottom half, like 12th or 13th, or last season when they were 17th. I think it was something like October when people were, he was a laughing stock. Amarim, they were still in the bottom half even after the money they spent. They lost to Grimsby. Ratcliffe come out and said, "I'm going to give him 3 years to prove himself," like Arteta. And to be honest, don't think he's really stuck to that, because 2 months later there actually has been a bit of improvement and he
Mm.
sacked him. So to me, that doesn't tell me that it's because of results. I just think there's been a big fallout. It sounded like he wasn't happy with the amount of power he was getting out of him. I think that's what he was saying yesterday. He was promised lots of power. Like he'd run everything basically. He said he wants to be the coach, the manager, not the coach. And he just hasn't got that power he was promised basically. basically. And I think it's similar with what happened with Maresca. It sounded like the owner was practically picking the team at times. Um, Neither of them seemed too happy with the power, and I think that's just resulted in fallout. I don't think either of them were sacked for the results. Like I said, Amorim, I know I'm not saying he's done great, but the fifth in the Champions League places, if they wanted to, it's just a weird time to sack him. I think if they thought he wasn't good enough, they would have done it when they were 12th a
Yeah.
couple of months ago. I think it's purely just there's been a fallout upstairs due to uh, broken promises. Probably it sounded like Amorim was promised a lot more power than he's actually got, and it's resulted in a big fallout. Same with what happened with Maresca, I think, even more so. That Bowley, it sounded like he was basically picking the team from the rumours that have come out. So yeah, it honestly in the end it didn't surprise me, but it's bizarre really. It seems to be the way modern football is going. Like sort of all these sporting directors, director of football, are sort of have more power than the managers at the end of the
There's
day.
too many people involved, and you can sit with these two clubs, Chelsea and Man United, two once great, brilliant clubs, have gone to a complete and utter shambles, hasn't it? It's with the whole Maresca thing, another Amorim thing. I think it's the purest representation of modern day football that you'll see. Neither manager is doing particularly anything wrong in a season that's quite frankly bonkers. To be honest, everything about it is just bonkers. I can't wait for it to end. And yeah, just to see that today. I wasn't surprised after the presser yesterday, but it's just like, wow, what is happening to the Premier League at the moment? Like, it is just mental. But yeah, they will go round the manager roulette again, and let's see if the next one can succeed at Old Trafford. We will finish at Craven Cottage, talking about probably the next manager to go from the big six sides: Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. Arne Slot under increasing pressure at Anfield. An absolutely brilliant goal from Fulham to claim a point in the end. But yet again, more drop points for Liverpool and Arne Slot, Josh.
Yeah, again, I honestly thought Liverpool would be very lucky to have won the game. Although, if it wasn't for an absolute thunderbolt in the last minute, they would have won, I thought, over the course of the game. Fulham actually gave them a decent game. I'll just go straight into the Vertov side, questionable to say the least. I know they used the semi-automated, but it's like where they're stopping it. It's like it's not even as the ball's being released, if you get what I mean. It's like when the pass comes through, it's like before he's released the ball where they've stopped it. It's like a second before he's released the ball, it looks like to me. So it's just not even accurate. And it's just like how do we even get that wrong? It's just a bit mental really. So I don't think that should have stood. He looked offside to me. You could literally see in like the grass, like the different colour in the grass. Vert was in one bit, and the Fulham player's boot was in the other coloured bit. If you get what I mean, he didn't look offside. He looked offside to me. And yeah, I thought first half Fulham probably the better side. Really took them 20 minutes to get going, but once they scored, I thought they were had the better chances. Um, Second half, thought more of the same. To be honest, last 10 or 15 minutes, Fulham were all over him, and then Liverpool ended up getting the late winner. But Liverpool probably started the second half a little bit better. Had a disallowed goal as well. Gakpo looked a bit more intense start of the second half, but last 10 or 15 minutes, Fulham looked like only one winner. It was Fulham. So yeah, I was quite happy just to see Harrison Reed absolute screaming. He probably never scored a better goal in his life. Couldn't really get it any far further in the top corner if he tried. Yeah, and Fulham they've put a decent run together really now. Looked like they were in the bottom six about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Not too many points clear of the relegation zone. And now I think they're only a couple of points off Europe. Just shows what happens if you put a few wins together. The league's so tight this season. There's like anyone from 14th to 7th. It's hard to predict. Someone 14th now could finish in Europe. You just Brentford is 7th. You could end up finishing 14th. It's really tight at the minute. And as for Liverpool, I know they've been on a little win and run before the last two draws, but I've still been yet to be impressed by them, to be honest. They scraped past Wolves at home, they scraped past the nine-men Spurs. I'm really not seeing too many better performances, even if they are grinding wins out. Just suppose when you're in a rot like they were, just stringing 3 or 4 wins together, however you do it, doesn't really matter how, is the most important thing. But now it looks like 2 draws to Fulham away and Leeds at home. It's not ideal, really. But again, fourth in the league. We know we're not going to win the league this season. I presume their aim is just going to be to get Champions League, and I really don't see. I think the top 5 is completely nailed on now. I don't see how anyone else is going to get into the top 5. Man United, I can't see it at all. And anyone else, it's sort of that mid-table batch. Sunderland, Everton, Brighton, Brentford. Can't see any of them breaking the top 5 either. Newcastle and Spurs also having poor seasons. So yeah, I think they're probably nailed on for Champions League now. Not going to win the league. So yeah, it's been a bizarre season for them. I think Slot last the end of the season, but I think if he gets Champions League, which, like I said, I'm convinced they're going to do, but next season will be a big one for him for sure.
I reckon they might part ways with him at the end of the season. It's just there's a lot of frustration, and I think it would sum up football as it is at the moment. I think if they probably came to an agreement at the end of the season, and all of a sudden you've got him leaving, and it's just been bonkers. Bring on May, that's what I say. But Josh, thank you very much indeed for another week. I will see you next week, where our relegation will either be confirmed, well, basically confirmed, or we'll be fighting Forest tomorrow. If we win, we've got a bit of fight. If we lose, then we are waving goodbye. But I hope you have your West Ham shirt on tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a fan of Forest and Dyche after watching how they played against us. Horrific. But you just imagine playing that type of football with that squad. I think even a Nuno team will be on top tomorrow, which is pretty mental. 2 very negative managers, so it'll be an interesting one. I think it's FA Cup weekend next weekend as well, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yes, of
That's
course. Yeah.
midweek ones. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. We've got Tottenham.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's the battle. It's the Premier League roundup show battle next weekend in the Cup. Tottenham Villa. We have QPR, so more riveting action to come. But yeah, there's some midweek games before we do get to that. So yeah, interesting all round. Josh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you everybody for getting involved in the chat. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Unofficial. Have some more stuff coming your way this evening, so hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when that does appear. Forest tomorrow, big game. I'll be here with you with a build-up show beforehand. Let's see, do any or both of our new strikers sign? They are signed. Do they start tomorrow at home in the massive game against Nottingham Forest? So join us tomorrow evening for a build-up show in what is a monumental game for West Ham. Josh, thank you. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.